Welcome back to the build of a lithium-ion battery for my e-bike. Remember, if you're going to build your own batteries, these are dangerous. They can catch a fire if you do things wrong. So watch this full series, and if you have any questions, make sure you know the answers before you even start. Make sure you know everything. If you do it wrong, you have a fire, you'll regret it. I'll zoom in so that the battery fills the frame. Now this is a big battery, right? It's 53 centimeters long by 12.25 centimeters wide right now. It will be slightly bigger than that, but not by much. We've got all the electronic connections for the inside of the battery completed. So now I'm going to see if I've got enough of this barley paper, they call it. It's the insulating portion that you put over your connections when you're working on this. So let's see. We'll do as much as we can. I think what I need to do is let it go down, see if it'll go down over the sides a little bit first. So I'll take that piece. Let's take the backing off. Fold that piece down over the end. Now I need to cut away my contact piece here. I don't have a contact piece on this end, so let's just fold it over. I'll just turn the battery so you can see how I folded this down over the edge. Now remember, this is the positive end. See, I've got a series connection here, and this is the negative. So down on the other side is the positive end of the battery. Over here, where my contact is, this is the negative end of the battery. So I'll write negative on there. When you put that BMS on, the black one, remember I mentioned it when we were building the series connections, it goes on the negative end of the battery. So we'll mark this little start that's coming out here. We'll mark that as B minus. And so now we've got one down the bottom. So this one here will be B2. B4, B6, B8, and B10. I want it right at the edge. That's what I'm trying to figure out here now. Cut out for the little starts there. Fold that corner down. Like so. Should have done it with that one as well. That's that side. Let's turn it over and do this side. Now, see, we got all the starts here, including one out on an angle here. If you just roll it over your hand like that, it'll straighten up somewhat from the roll that it was on. Now, like I said, right out to the edge of the holders for the battery. I'm going to fix this one here. Next. I'm not so sure I want them hanging down over. If I have some high heat tape that I might put around the edge. You'll see here now in a minute, because I'm not liking the way that that hangs over. Okay, so I need to cut away from the starts here, the little connectors for the BMS. Now, so remember we had negative. This here is the positive end here, but we had the negative and the B2, which is down on the bottom right here. This will be B1. So this will be B1, B3, B5, B7, B9, B12, B9, 11, and no, this one is not B13, it is B positive. That's the positive end of the battery. Now what we're wanting to do, I'm going to cut this straight. Now, let's see how well this works. Start in the middle of the battery pack, or on some long flat part. Don't start at a corner. Now, I don't know if you remember, but I bent down the main power lead tabs here. So I need to get that underneath the tabs. Okay. So I've got them hooked underneath those tabs. And I come all the way down this side. These tabs are straight, so it'll go right in between them. Can put the top edge of this right up against those top tabs is what I'm going to do. I didn't bend those tabs yet, so I don't have to worry about that. See, I'm pulling off this backing as I'm going. Now you don't have to overlap extremely a lot. Just so much. Now, let's turn this up on the edge. You may have heard of Captain tape. So that's high heat tape that they normally use on this. But I think that looks so cheap that I'm like, no, there gotta be a better high heat tape than that. And I did find it. So this is a wiring harness tape. It's for automobiles. You wrap your wiring in this along your chassis. It is rated for 150 degrees Celsius. Now, Captain tape is rated for 260 degrees Celsius. Samsung cells are tested to 130 degrees Celsius. So, if this tape melts, I've got bigger problems than melting tape, because I've gone over the testing limit that they do for the battery cells. So what I'm wanting to do is just do that edge on this side. Can I tear this? Yeah, I can tear it. I'll put one piece in between each set of tabs. Just to finish off the opening that's there. Now, can I just come around the end with that, I wonder? That way, and then just fold it over. Now on this end it's a little different, because I've got the main power there, and I also have the B positive. That edge. Now I'll turn it over. I think what I'll do on this side is I'll just start right there. And I can go all the way around then to this PMS sensor right there. I'm going to be in 206, B8, B10. There. Now it's enclosed with barley paper, they call it. I can slip my tabs onto there, and I can also slip them onto there. Now I may bend these down as well, like I did with the other end, because I don't want a wire sticking off. Actually, I want to keep this as short as possible. You know what, I'm going to have to do it now, because doing it later might be a problem. All I'll need to do is take the bill nose pliers, and I can bend that down. And where was that little plug that I just had? Yep, everything is fine on there. Now you gotta see make sure I'll be able to hook one of these onto each one of those tabs. Some I got just right, and they can click all the way on. Some of them hangs up on the little tab thing that's in there, but they all go on fair enough. And where's the positive one? Right there. Yeah, so all the context works. So I've got to put, what would you call it, a disclaimer, a little material data sheet, print one up and put on here so that we know exactly what's inside of this battery without actually taking it apart. Now I'm going to see how well I can give you a go around of this battery. And I put on this label, lithium-ion battery bank specs. You got the cells are Samsung SDI INR 18650 35E. We've got P14, that's parallel 14, S for series, S13, which give you 48 volts, 49 amp hours. Maximum current, and I've got put 112 amps, and the maximum temperature at 130. That's the warning. Keep everything for this battery bank below that. Now that we've got our battery cells all wrapped up, we're going to put on a BMS. Before I do that, I thought of an experiment, and I can show you it. Just a minute. Move this to the side. I have a wood burning station here. It's called a pyrography soldering station. You've seen it before, but I can set the temperature on this from 250 all the way up to 750 Celsius. So I'll turn that on, and I'll put the tool down here. Now, first off, this tape, that's the black tape I put on there, that's rated for 150 Celsius. So at 250 it's going to melt. Question is, will it ignite? It won't ignite. It'll melt, and well, that's 250. It'll put out a lot of smoke. So I wasn't happy with that, But then I thought, it's on the outside edge, it's outside of the barley paper. That will give me the first warning that something is going wrong. Will be this tape starting to smoke. So that might be a good idea. I can turn this one, well, you know, you've seen that it melted at 250, so we don't, it's not the melting we're worried about. I'm going to turn it right up to 750 Celsius and see if this will ignite. As soon as I touch it, it just melts right away. But once again, I can't get it to ignite. It just melts. This is the material from the siding. So let's turn it all the way down to 250 again. Let's see how hot it has to be to get the siding material to melt. At 250, it kind of melts back slowly. But oh so slowly. Basically, it's gone a little soft. Let's put it up to 350. Still not melting very fast. Let's go to 450. That was melting a little faster than on 350. That was 550. So at 550, it's going to just melt right away. If I put this right up to 750, it'll slowly melt, not near as fast as the tape melted on any case. Also, I tried to burn some of this in the wood stove to see what would happen, and it never ignited first nor last. We put some electrical tape on the battery, if you recall. So I have a piece sticking off. Turn this down to 250 and it'll melt at 250. I doubt this is going to ignite either. I think it's just going to melt. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . That was 350. It's actually holding up better than the wiring harness tape. But like I say, it is melting. And this is basically pure plastic, right? That was 450. So that's 550. So we know it's going to melt very slowly at 250. It'll melt once you get up to 350 and 450. It'll melt fairly readily. I just turned it up to 750 now to see if I can get it to ignite. It's just turning black fairly fast. So I think if you left it at 750 for a while, you'll probably ignite it. I want to get some on my wood burner tool here. Top. I want to see if this will ignite. Because I'm thinking it should. We have these shrink wrap tubes. This will be basically the same as the coating on a battery cell. So let's turn that down to 250. I had a ball of wire wool here the other day, and just as quick as that now I got that misplaced. That's why I was using the knife to scratch off the stuff that was building up on my tip here. Now, yeah, we were going to test this out with the that's 250. It's shrinking because it is shrink tape, but it's not melting. We'll go to 350. Nothing. 450. It gets pretty soft at 450. Once again, it's holding up. 550. It'll smoke, but not burn and not really melt either. 650. Yeah, now it's starting to melt. So it will melt at 650. It'll smoke a bit at 550. You see, this is a battery. Now don't try this at home. That's 650. And it'll slowly melt. But you have to have a lot of heat way above what these batteries can stand in order to melt the coating on these. You know, the barley paper, so I went on the hunt, Google hunt for what the temperature rating will be for barley paper, and I could not find it. And I found a couple sites that said, well, barley paper is paper, so it should be the same rating as just regular paper. So we take a piece of regular paper. Now I've got it down to 250. Don't really get anything at 250. Let's turn it up to 350. So paper won't ignite at 350 Celsius. $450. It's smoking at 450. She's slowly burning its way through, but it's not igniting. 550. And it ignited. That is the rating. So that's the rating I found for normal paper when I googled the rating for normal paper. Somewhere between 450 and 550. And it will ignite. Now, I'll take a piece of barley paper. I'm going to take the backing off because, of course, you don't use the backing. I've got this left on 550. He'll smoke at 550. Let's turn it down to 450 to see where it doesn't smoke. Okay, there's still some smoke at 450. That's 350. What I'm actually noticing is that at 350, that little bit of smoke is actually from the glue on it and not the paper burning. So now let's go back up to 450. Yeah, so we'll get a bit of smoke at 450. We'll get a fair amount of smoke at 550, and it slowly burns its way up. I've got a little bit of ignition there at 550. That's 650. And I did get some coals. At 750. It'll burn fairly fast, and it's not really igniting, so this is better than paper, I think. But still, it'll start smoking at about 450, so we'll put our temperature limit at about 400 Celsius. Editing Jotham here. I was just editing the video, and I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. And we'll leave it there for now. We'll come back in the next video and put the BMS on that battery.